your vision to run a marathon, anybody wants to run a marathon here, or maybe like get super fit? I used to run a lot of marathons. That's what I'm asking. So if your vision, let's say, is to run a marathon, then every decision you make, every action you take needs to be evaluated through the lens. Is this in alignment with my vision of being fit and healthy or being a marathon runner? Right? Rather than how am I going to get there? So it's a very, very different approach. We're looking through a very different lens. And lastly, let's say if your decision or if your vision to make six figures, okay, and currently let's say you're making like 50K a year and you want to make maybe 200K a year, once again, every decision you make needs to be evaluated through the lens. Is this in alignment with a version of me that is making 600 figures? Oh, 600 figures would be lovely, six figures. Because without having a clear vision, it's easy to get lost in a direction. And kind of aimlessly, wander around somewhere that doesn't bring you closer towards your goals. I don't know if you ever felt like you're taking one step forward and a few steps back, right? And here's the thing about vision. It's not about having every single step clearly mapped out. Not at all. Your vision just gives you that sense of direction and clarity. And most importantly, understanding the version of yourself that you are growing into. And this is a really, really important concept, right? The version. So there is a vision and the version, because the version of you that currently is sitting in this masterclass and the version of you who has already achieved the goal of being the CEO, running a marathon, being fit and healthy, or making six figures are the two different versions, right? They're completely different. And between those two versions, there is a gap. So in order for you to start moving faster and make decisions that are in alignment with this goal, you've got to bridge the gap. So let's talk about this gap. What is this gap? So the gap between where you are right now and where you want to be is filled with your thoughts and with your beliefs. And often our current thoughts, when we make a decision, are kind of thoughts: how am I going to get there? How long it will take? What am I going to do next? All of these kind of thoughts that come from the present version of you that doesn't have the answers. It just doesn't know. And in this state, it's very easy to feel limited because you are operating from your current state of understanding and experience. So if you've never run a marathon, you have no idea how to do that. If you've never been a CEO, you have no idea how to do that. If you've never made six figures, you have no idea how to do that. So how can you make a decision if you've got no idea how to do that? It's very, very difficult. And that's why overwhelm can set in. And I mean, I saw some people answer that they tend to overthink and things like that, right? Also, inside the soup or inside the gap, there are thoughts, which we spoke about, and there are beliefs. And there are beliefs that you are believing about yourself and about your life. Now, some beliefs are helpful. For example, if your beliefs are, I can always get what I want, I'm capable of anything, I'm absolutely beautiful, smart, and amazing, those are great beliefs. Those are supportive beliefs, right? Because they give you energy, they give you power, they give you momentum. But often that's not the case. Often these beliefs are limiting beliefs, and these beliefs can hold us back from getting us to what we want, right? Because, sometimes we consciously think, I want to be the CEO of the company. I so badly want it. But in the back of the mind goes, oh, but I won't have the time. But my kids are too young. But what if my husband doesn't approve? But what if, and all of these beliefs will self-sabotage. And this is why you can work so hard towards your goal to kind of, trying to get there. And you may get there, but at what expense? It can feel slow, it can feel like an effort, and you'll just end up getting overwhelmed and either give up or settle for less. True or true, right? And the bigger the goal, the bigger the obstacles seem to be. So what is their solution, guys? The solution here is to have a clarity of vision. And I'm going to take you through a very, very powerful process in the meantime. Because when you have this vision, you need to know not only what you want, but also why you want it. Okay, why you want it. So what and a why, not when and not how. That's not important. When and how they will finally emerge, but you need to know what you want and why you want it. So when you get clear on that, you begin to operate from a very different perspective. You begin to look through the lens of the version of you who has already achieved the goal, who already knows how to be the CEO, how to make six figures, how to run a marathon. And instead of getting stuck on how am I going to get there, what would this, what do I need to do? You will start asking yourselves very different questions. Instead of asking yourself, how will I get there? You will ask yourself, if I already knew my next step, what would it be? So basically what we are doing is we reverse engineering the process, right? I don't know if you ever heard about the reverse engineering when it comes to decision making, but a lot of studies and psychologists have already proven how powerful it can be because you're beginning to operate from a more empowered state. Your mind is open to more opportunities, to more possibilities. Because every single time when we get ask ourselves, how am I going to do that? What do I need to do next? We narrow our minds. But then if we say, if I already knew what my next step, what would it be? We expand our minds to more opportunities and to more ideas. Is this clear, guys? Am I making sense? Yeah, I can see some nods. So, Steve Jobs, actually, he was one of the people who said this quote, and I absolutely love it. I approach all my decision making this way. If you cannot connect the dots looking forwards, you can only connect them looking backwards. So you've got to trust that somehow the dots will align or will connect in your future. Okay, so we're going to start looking backwards now. And this exercise I'm going to be taking you through, I'm going to share a quick story with you because it's so powerful. It's so powerful. So when I first learned it from my mentor about 3 years ago, or maybe 2 years, no, but yeah, 2.5 years ago, I had no prior speaking experience. At that time, we were also in lockdown. We were just coming out of the lockdown. And I really wanted to speak on live stages. I wanted to get paid. And most importantly, I wanted to see my family who live in Germany and Ukraine. So at that time, we couldn't even enter Germany because of the lockdown rules. And as we know, there was a war in Ukraine. So there's no airplanes flying. And I remember doing this vision, and normally, when I do it properly with my clients, it takes about an hour to do that. We don't have an hour. I'm going to give you 5 minutes, but you're going to get kind of an awareness of how it works. So to cut the long story short, when I wrote out the vision, then I summarized it into a few lines. My first line was to have a paid speaking event live on stage. My second one was to see my family, to have a family reunion with, specifically in my family was Germany and Ukraine. And then a couple of months went by, and I practiced this. It's not like a one-off thing. A couple of months went by, and I received a message on LinkedIn from an event organizer in Berlin. And he said, hey, we're just putting an event together. We would love for you to come to be one of our speakers. And also it's a paid event. So I was like, oh, crap, that would be nice. But can I enter Germany? And they literally just lifted like rules for the COVID restriction a week before. So I phoned my dad, who lives in Ukraine, and I'm like, look, I'm going to be in Germany. Is there any chance you're going to be able to get out of the country? So a few months go by, a few weeks, I can't remember. I fly to Germany, to Berlin, and I speak at this beautiful live events with hundreds of people and hundreds more streaming in. And the next day I get on a train and I go to Frankfurt where my cousin lives. And I walk into a flat and there is my cousin, my aunt, and my dad arrived that morning. He managed to get tickets for the last train and a bus. It took him like 40 hours to get from Ukraine to Germany, right? And actually, when I look then at like 10 lines that I've summarized based on the exercise I'm going to be sharing with you, guys, every single one of them has happened in my life. Every single one of them, but not a single one happened in the way I thought it should happen, right? And this is why with our thinking, we are limiting ourselves. And I will go more into scientifics as to why that happens. So you're up to do this little exercise. Yeah, you excited? Okay, awesome. So what I would love for you to do, guys, is it's very, very simple and very powerful. Okay, because for the time's sake, we're gonna choose one goal. Okay, so pick your career, business, relationship, health. And then once you chose it, don't overthink it. Okay, whatever you do, just don't overthink this. What I would like for you to do, I'm going to play nice music and maybe just close your eyes and just feel, how would it feel for you to really have achieved it? Like you're just finishing this marathon, right? You just, somebody's putting metal on your neck and you having like, I don't know, a burger because you deserved it, because you just burned like 4,000 calories. Or maybe you've just been promoted as a CEO and the office is throwing you a party, or maybe you're getting married, whatever that is for you, okay? Feel it in your body, and then I want you to start writing it. And the way you write it, you write this. You don't just say, one day when I'm 45 years old, I'm going to get married. No, you write it as though it's already happened. And you can start even with the phrase, like whenever I journal, I always do that. I'm so happy and grateful. I'm so happy and grateful now that, and you carry on with it. And pay attention to how would you feel? Who is in this vision with you? Who you're spending time with? You know, what actions would you be taking? So basically, you are becoming the version of the person who has already achieved the goal. Yeah, is that clear? Yes, yes. Okay, I don't know if I'm looking at this yes or the previous years, but the yeses are good. Awesome. All right, so let's take 5 minutes, okay?